Happy 2010 TMPers, Nutnfancy, breaking open the new year with another knife review. It's going to be entered into my Hall of Fame of all-time great lightweight tactical and EDC blades. Spyderco Stretch 2. Say what? Nutnfancy, dude, you've done a lot of knife reviews and you have a lot of favorites? You're saying the Stretch, rises to the top of those favorites or near and entered among those favorites? That's what I'm saying. This is an awesome blade. Awesome. Two varieties. I'm going to roll in front of you, in front of the camera here as we go along. Down my talking points by request by many TMPers. A lot of guys like how I hit all the specifics. That way they can follow along, take notes or whatever. This version is the FRN VG10 steel version in the background. Wearing that beautiful powder blue coloration. Also an FRN handle, but in a more exotic Japanese-made ZDP 189 steel. We'll talk about that as talking points progress. Outstanding blade. Just an outstanding blade. You're going to see that as I go down the talking points. We're going to connect the dots, and under each of these categories, you will see how Sal at Spyderco and all the good people at Spyderco have refined the Stretch into being pretty much problem-free. Absolutely problem-free. That's hard to say with a lot of knives, don't you think? Pretty much every knife I roll in front of the camera, I may like this, I may not like that, but most of them are going to have little issues here and there that I personally, just according to me, think that could be resolved to make it a better blade. I don't know if I'll be able to say anything along those lines for the Stretch 2. We'll just call it the Stretch by Spyderco. Outstanding. Jumping right into the talking points. POU, size, weight. What is it? First off, let's get this out of the way. Lightweight tactical blade. What? This is a tactical blade? Could be. What does that mean? For you newbies out there, well, when I say lightweight tactical blade, this would be kind of a blade we have on our person primarily for utility purposes, EDC purposes, soldier, cop, law enforcement, civilian sheepdog, no matter who you are, but it also has a capability of defending your life if you need to. Use it in that fashion as a close quarter battle weapon. Stretch could function in that. Well, let me jump ahead in the talking points a little bit. How could that be? Well, for one, it's got jimping that actually works. What? Yep, jimping. Sharp, purposeful jimping. I laugh every time I say that because you guys just know I just go on and on about the jimping. It's just hilarious. 2010, not much has changed. But look at that, dudes. Top side, nice, aggressive, and deep thumb ramp that really locks your thumb in. Okay? And you're not going to go forward if you have to do a thrust attack. That-a-way. If you want to in the choil area, jimped down there too. Voila, locked that way. I don't know if I'd feel comfortable using it in a thrust attack that way. It'd be real easy for this bottom finger to come like that. I'd probably keep it behind the finger guard myself, but I sure like the option. This would probably be used mostly for EDC, utility cutting tasks, where you want to choke up on the blade and you want more control. Great job. But that jimping kind and the big thumb ramp, in my mind, enables lightweight tactical use. Great blade shape as well for that. We may mention some of that. And it's fast in deployment, locks up sure. So POU, yeah, lightweight tactical. But I think primarily for most dudes, it's going to be used as a utility blade. Okay, everyday carry, light enough to carry. We'll talk about that actually right now. 3.4 ounces for this version, 3.6 for that. Let's call it 3.5, okay? The same weight. Huh. Under my arbitrary 4-ounce desire. It's not a requirement. I just like it when a blade, especially EDC variety, lightweight tactical varieties, can come in under 4 ounces. I dig that. It's because it's so light you forget you have it in your pocket and all the other crap we often carry, especially in tactical environments, police officers, radios, handcuffs, tasers, gun, extra ammunition. Forget about it. Last thing I want is an 8-ounce knife in that POU. If you're a civilian, you're just carrying your knife, then who cares? It doesn't matter. Some guys like the weight. Generally 4 ounces. If I can beat it, I'm excited. The Stretch beats it. Okay, 3.5 ounces. So that makes it a very easy to carry EDC blade. Okay, one you can accomplish your everyday cutting task with ease. Might be a little bit on the large size for some guys, and I kind of am in that school of thought as well. For an EDC blade, something that I'm just opening packages with, maybe a little bit of food preparation, cord cutting, you know, cardboard work, maybe a little bit on large size. That's just me. But again, getting back to the first POU, Emergency Tactical, I'll take it, you know, because then you can kind of cover both bases. Third POU, collectability. Big kudos to Spyderco and how they do not produce a certain version of the knife. Maybe Delica and Dura, of course, aren't that way, but a lot of their knives come and go. They're issued for a limited amount of time, then they kind of become collectible. That would be a third reason why you'd want to get a stretch. Currently, it's being offered in several varieties. You see two of them here. Both of these are plain edge. You can also get it in a black FRN VG10 steel combo edge. This one, again, is FRN ZDP 189, VG10 black FRN. Lots to say. Also available, and I don't have it with me, is a carbon fiber version of the blade. Worth considering? Yeah, I think it is, and here's why. First off, it wears a ZDP 189. We'll talk about that here in a second. But more importantly, it has a newer version of carbon fiber. Let's go back to this knife. Native, carbon fiber, previously reviewed in the Nutnfancy project. Big hit I gave this knife. Do you remember what? No, not the thinness. That was good. Loved it. Blade shape, good. Steel, good. But that smooth-sided, aesthetic-only carbon fiber, the woven variety with a matte finish, I pretty much called it a dress knife for that. No traction whatsoever on those CF scales on the Native. By the way, very expensive knife. More expensive than these knives. Wow. Crazy, crazy. Hated the carbon fiber. I shouldn't say hate, but for practicality, it blows. It blows, man. I mean, let's be honest, no traction at all. Good news is, wish I had it, but I don't. The ZDP 189 carbon fiber C90 stretch wears a peel ply carbon fiber panels, or grip panels on the side. My understanding is they're like G10. They're kind of textured. Some guys complain they're too textured. I probably would not be one of those. But it's a huge improvement over this, from my understanding. Okay. Again, if you want second type of cool, just like I said in the review of this knife, rock on. But if you want, real traction, you might want to look elsewhere. So those are the versions currently being offered of the Spyderco Stretch C90, I think it's called. Pick your poison. Which one do you want? All of them are outstanding. I'll probably tell you what my favorite is the talking points progress here. The size, by the way, since we're on the first talking point, believe it or not, still 8 minutes in, still on the first talking point. Amazing. 3.5-inch blade. Again, a little bit big for EDC. Overall, you can see the knife here in comparison to the Native carbon fiber. Okay, in comparison to the Endura 4. Okay, in comparison to Benchmade 740 Deja Vu. Deja Vu, previously reviewed. There we go. Might talk about this knife later on, but you can kind of see the size. A little bit on the bare side. I kind of think of it as Endura size. Moving along, steel. 2 offered, VG10. Dudes, I've talked about this one a lot. That is a great steel. Good rest resistance, holds an edge well. Very much proven by me, Nutnfancy, in my own activities. Backpacking, trout fishing, skinning out an animal here or there. VG10 just rocks. And the nice thing about it, with my mediocre sharpening skills, I'm able to put the edge back on it. Okay, great choice. And like it's another stablemate, also quintessential reference EDC blade, Nutnfancy 3, also by Spyderco. It's a very thin steel as well. I'm sorry, the grind is thin. Okay, Nutnfancy 3 on the right, stretch on the left. So it inherits that. Kind of jumping ahead. I'll talk about blade shape here in a second. So VG10 steel, great. ZDP 189, what do I know about it? Not a lot. Not yet. I haven't used it hard yet. Definitely not this knife on loan to me. This one is mine. I've used that a lot, the VG10 version. This one, though, don't know much about it. Let me tell you what I do know. ZDP 189 has a lot of carbon content in it. It's a very hard steel, meaning that it's going to hold an edge like incredibly well, theoretically. Okay, downsides? You bet. There's always a downside, right? excuse me, it's going to be harder to sharpen. Probably really hard to sharpen if you let it get dull. Okay, some guys will say, I don't have any problems at all. Well, rock on. I wish I was as good a sharpener as you are. But some guys might. Also, with that carbon content, you might have some rusting problems around water. Probably not quite as rust resistant as D2, which is what a lot of dudes will call a semi-stainless tool steel. I think ZDP 189, about the same. You know, salt water could be its nemesis. It'd be like the Wicked Witch in The Wizard of Oz getting doused with water. You know, it's just going to start melting. ZDP 189 will probably just go bye-bye if it touches salt water for any length of time. It'll just rust into oblivion. Be careful. If you take care of it, though, just like a lot of tool steels, you know, keep it oiled, keep it relatively sharpened, you know, just touching it up, I think you're going to find that ZDP 189 is amazing, especially at the price point which Spyderco is offering the Stretch 2. Yeah, it's just a great steel. You're going to love it. Oh, and by the way, out of the box, it was scary sharp. I don't use that word very often. It was scary. I haven't seen a knife this sharp out of the box in a long time. I mean, every knife should be like this. I know different steels will take different edges, but the VG10 is excellent. ZDP 189, as far as hair pop and sharp, you know, on a whole different level. Terrifying, just as a knife should be. Awesome. Blade shape, excellent. Kind of that swept Spyderco drop point. Nice fine tip for delicate work if you need to. Oh, and one of my favorite things, full flat grinding. Oh, I like that. Love the full flat grind. You know, I've said, well, I like it definitely on my survival knives, but if I can get it in my lightweight tactical EDC blades, I'll take it. Doesn't mean I don't like the Nutnfancy 3. Love this knife. Love it. For its price point, you're going to be very hard pressed to beat it. Great jimping, thumb ramp, very thin blade, fast, tight lockup, great clip. All those things still play with the Nutnfancy 3, except for one. It's not full flat ground. Still cuts. Cuts well, like a mofo. It cuts. The, you know, Nutnfancy 3, amazing cutting performance. But this is better still. Didn't use the ZDP 189 version, did this one, the VG10. And let me tell you, it slices just with amazing prowess. Just a great, great grind. There's your Spyderco logo on that side. Sakai City, Japan. There you go. Stamped. The quality all throughout is just amazing on these Spyderco blades. Great steel choices too. Great blade shape. Connecting the dots to greatness we are. How's the speed on both of these knives? Just amazing. Amazing. Balance, feel, speed, lockup. All home runs for the Stretch. No wiggle left to right. No wiggle up and down. If you get some left to right, and I did have some with this one, to be honest, a little bit, just tighten up your pivot point a little bit. Loctite it, as I've previously recommended in other reviews, and you'll find it's just perfect. This is a crucial one, the crucial one. Up and down. It's just very fast. This is one of those folding knives, guys, that pretty much makes automatic knives unnecessary. I don't buy any auto knives anymore. I think they're a waste of money. They're generally overpriced. Not necessary. And they're usually heavier too. You know, the Stretch demonstrates that. With just a slight amount of thumb tension, out it comes, well balanced. My understanding, this is a pet project of Sal himself at Spyderco, continually tweaking and perfecting this design. It shows. It shows. Lockup, I got no hits on that. Strength, it's a lockback. You guys that hate liner locks, here you go. Mid-spine lockback with a David Bow detent, whatever it is, detent. Totally unnecessary, the indentation here, but I'll take it. It doesn't inhibit functionality at all. Lockback, though. A lot of guys' minds going to make it a stronger knife. Is this a hard-use, hard-duty knife? I think you'd be amazed at what it can do. The Spyderco Stretch. I really do. I called it lightweight tactical. It might be a little bit more than that. When I say lightweight tactical, I'm pretty much referring to the weight itself. As far as its capabilities, cutting performance, ability, you know, to protect your life, get it done without folding on your fingers due to the lockback design. Probably above and beyond its category. Handle material, FRN, CF, we talked about it. Volcano grip, it's that bi-directional checkering that Spyderco puts on there. I've talked about it in some other reviews like the Endura 4. I dig it. It's one of the best patterns out there. It does provide good traction directionally on the handle. They talk about it on their website of what it's intended to do. I think it's just excellent. You know, some guys will be biased against having a fiber reinforced nylon handle. Not me. Dig it. If you like the CF version, get the CF version. I think you'd be smart for that too, especially since they fixed the traction problems on that. Also, getting into the handle material and going back to weight, this is one of the reasons why it is so lightweight now that we're talking about the handle. Look inside there. The nested stainless steel liners. Do you see what I see? Huh. Totally milled out liners. See that? Not moderately, but aggressively milled liners. You can see they removed all excess metal from the interior of the Spyderco Stretch, and that's why it achieves that remarkable and very svelte 3.5 ounce carry weight. Oh, great job. Great job. Again, I love that coloration. The blue, excellent. Ergonomically speaking, the handle is excellent. No hot spots, no uncomfortable edges. Forward grip, you know, reverse grip if you need to use it in that fashion. It'll lend itself quite well, and that's ergonomics. Talked about the jimping already, how excellent it is. The lock back, some guys will say, well, it's a little bit slower to close than the liner lock where I can just do it one-handed. Not a big downside to me, and I won't consider that a downside at all. Getting ready to run out of video room on the SD card. Let me dovetail the two clips together. Another part of ergonomics is, of course, the versatility of the clip on the Spyderco Stretch. Like a lot of Spyderco knives, repositionable to all four corners. If you're a lefty, righty, prefer tip up, tip down, this knife will accommodate. Awesome job, Spyderco. And as you've seen in my other reviews, I use that as a reference point against perhaps some other manufacturers. Kind of like the Deja Vu, where we are stuck with tip down carry, albeit a looped deep carry pocket clip. That was good, but you know, you're stuck with it. Granted, this has G10 scales on it, understand, but comes out fast, by the way. I still like the Deja Vu. Incidentally, which one would I prefer? These are about the same price point, these two knives. Deja Vu, Spyderco Stretch, which one would I prefer? First off, which one would you think I'd prefer? Huh, wrong. This one. You probably said this one. Look at it. It's flatter in carry. All the things we're talking about, the big pluses, the pocket clip, steel. And remember that Deja Vu has some handle retention issues. See that? Just a slight shake brought that blade out. Stretch have that problem? Nope. Good handle retention. Of course, that's partially due to the lockback design. Great blade, though. Ergonomically, though, clip, big home run. Big home run. There's a standard Spyderco clip. We've seen that many times, haven't we? Non-obtrusive, strong, complements the looks of the knife adequately well. You know, could it be deeper carry? You know, I don't mind having that much pop-up so I can extract the knife. You know, put a lanyard on it if I want through the lanyard hole there. I'm not even going to ding that. So enthralled am I with the overall design of the Stretch. It's just awesome. Durability, expect good things. It's just going to be a hard-performing, hard-wearing knife. How do I know this? How does anybody know this? How about a little thing called the Endura? Okay, heavily used. It's going to be along the same lines. Still the same exact handle, FRN, nested stainless steel liners. This one is a VG10 blade, combo edge. Just like the Stretch in the background, they're going to wear about the same. And I've been very impressed with hard use with my Enduras, as have people all over the world. Very popular knife. Incidentally, here's that Endura 4 in the Dura-coated Tango down flat dark earth again. Oh, I like that. Would I do that to the Stretch? Maybe. Not in the plans, but yeah, I could. Man, that's cool looking. Love that. This is a plain edge Endura 4, incidentally. But hardware knife, you're going to expect the same thing from your Stretches. They just wear nicely. Value, I think it's pretty good. Some guys might disagree because this is not an overly cheap knife. The Stretch isn't. Where we can get an Endura 4 for around, I don't know, 50, 60 bucks, a little bit more, let's call it $60. That's probably on the high side, depending on where you go to get your blades. I say your cornerstore.com is pretty inexpensive. The stretch is going to run a little bit more. YCS, your corner store. Again, these are ballpark figures, guys. Don't hold me to them because there's so many variables when we talk about where you're getting your knives. This one was $72. One in the background, $94. Thereabouts, I believe, if that's right, if that's what he paid. About $94. So, is that good value? I say it is. Now, let me keep it real with you guys. I like doing that. What would you prefer between the Endura and this? I would say the stretch. One of the issues I have with the Endura is the balance, the blade deployment. Excuse me. In other words, how quickly can I get the blade out? Again, I'm a practice folding knife user. I've seen lots of people who are not, who try to bring the Endura out and they'll have issues with it, to have it come out in one smooth, quick motion. That's because that pivot hole is very close to the fulcrum. We've talked about that. Not a huge deal, especially with good technique, but that's just one of the minor issues why I would prefer to stretch over the Endura 4. Both excellent knives, both outstanding. I own both. Obviously, if I didn't like them, I'd get rid of it. Stretch, though, again, that balance is just amazing. It's fast, easy. I would pay the extra money to get a stretch if it were me. I would. I love the full flat grind of the blade, the options in steels, excellent. A lot of the other things are just like the Endura, right? You know, the jimping, the thumb ramp, albeit I've seen bad jimping on Enduros, not so much on the stretch though, not in the ones I've seen. Just excellent. Value is high. For a ZDP 189 capability, $94 for that type of steel. Yeah, I think you'll be hard pressed to beat it. Going back to the Deja Vu example, you know, we kind of get into two kinds of cool here. Really. In other words, some guys will just love, and this is kind of, I know, an arbitrary comparison, but the price point, you're looking at two knives that cost the same. Okay, so, but for utility, for the things I said, probably this knife. For amazing steel. Don't get me wrong, that S30V, also awesome. Big fan, 154 of the other quality steels as well. Cool factor. As time goes on, they quit production of this knife in particular, the blue version ZDP 189. Cool factor just goes up. It goes up, keeps on cranking. So big home run on the stretch 2 for Spyderco. We connected the dots, talked about the steel, the great options you have in steel, the high performance of it, the full flat grind, the POUs, the versatility therein. It could flex to lightweight, tactical, EDC, collectability. It's fast, tight lockup, great handle with outstanding job done on the nested stainless steel liners, great ergonomics, 4-way positionable clip. I mean, there's no downsides. 14mm deployment hole, durability value. There you have it, dudes. The stretch is going to be entered into my best of playlists in all appropriate categories. Yeah, it's a little bit more money than you probably would spend on some other alternatives, and there are a lot of great knives out there. The stretch by no means is, you know, the end-all best knife. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying, though, it rises to be among the best, and that is an elite group. Nutnfancy out.